thought the Game of Thrones finale was pretty good. It ended the only way it really could end, in my opinion. My only gripe is that it was a bit rushed, but I think as far as like story plot points go, it was really good. I love a show that can make me feel really emotional. Flipping love a good cry, me. And there was one part at the start, shout out to when Tyrion finds Jaime, miraculously finds his hand sticking out of the rubble. What are the chances of that? That was pretty sad. But the bit that really got me for some reason was Brienne writing down in the Kingsguard book, I've forgotten the name of the book, I apologise, like sort of finishing off Sir Jaime's entry, and it was just so nice. And she actually writes so much. She goes over 2 pages and she's super nice to him throughout. I mean, at the end, it sort of says it all. Died protecting his queen. She doesn't say anything bad about him, despite obviously him breaking her heart and being told douchebag, but that was just really nice. I just really liked that bit. It gave me a little tear in my eye. My least favourite part, there was lots of really good parts when we were talking about this beforehand. I realised how good this episode was, but there were a few bits that just didn't make sense. And one of them was Drogon just taking off. I know he's sad and all, he's in mourning and stuff, but where did he go? You'd think he'd be a little bit off. I mean, fair enough, he's probably had his lust for, you know, killing things has been sated for now. He's done a bit of that, so maybe he's going off to try something new. Maybe he's going to get some new hobbies. But I'm just like, where have you gone, Drogon? It just seemed like such a cop-out, writing him out. Oh, he gets sad and flies away. What? No, Drogon, I wanted the dragon to be somewhat upset. There is an inclination that he's, you know, intelligent in that, and that's why he's just taken off. He's like, I want nothing to do with yous, but no, him disappearing is... That didn't sit well with me. I miss him. Come back.
For me, the best bit of the Game of Thrones finale, well, it was going to be Rob and Aaron long-bottoming all over the place. I need to get me some of that milk if you end up looking like that. But the best bit of the Game of Thrones finale for me was unquestionably my guy, Sir Pod. In he comes. Everyone in this office told me, yeah, he's going to get offed in the last season. But no, there he was, resplendent in gold, rolling in the new king. That's the spin-off I want to see, Sir Pod and his magic dick adventures. And the worst bit of the Game of Thrones finale is just, what the bloody hell do we do now? We've had, what, 8 years of this, of looking forward to it, of enjoying it, of making memes on the internet. That was another one of the best bits. But I'm lost without Game of Thrones. What, I go and start a new TV series now? That's not going to have zombies, dragons, and just a magic dick man in it, is it? So what's the bloody point anymore?
So the best moment in the Game of Thrones finale for me was Drogon destroying the Iron Throne. Now, it's not for the reasons you may think. It's not because, oh well, the throne was forged in Dragonfire and therefore it's appropriate that it gets destroyed by Dragonfire. It's not because Drogon, who's a bloody dragon by the way, sat there and thought, oh well, this throne has been responsible for so many deaths and so much turmoil, I think I'm going to destroy it. The reason that this is the best moment in the entire finale is because Drogon looked at his mum and went, she's been killed by Stabby Thing. And he looks over there, the chair made of Stabby Thing. Chair kill her, I kill chair. And then he melts it down into a big bloody gloop, picks his mom up and goes, see ya later. That is the best moment in the finale. The worst moment is big stupid Edmure thinking that he could be king. The last time we saw this guy, he was selling out the Blackfish, he was getting him killed, he was getting himself kidnapped at the Red Wedding. He couldn't hit his own bloody dad's funeral pyre with a bow and arrow when he was selling down the road. But this big, useless bellwipe stands up and goes, well, actually, I've learned a thing or two about statecraft, whatever the hell that even means. And he rightly gets smacked down by Sansa, who effectively slaps him in the face. Uncle, please sit down. Pop in the boys.
So my best moment was, let's go back to episode 4. Jon Snow leaves Winterfell and he looks at Ghost. Just looks at him, just brushes him off. Not a pet, not really a goodbye, nothing. And he goes off, goes down south, tells his direwolf, just go beyond the wall, mate, go with Tormund, forget about me. And then we get the finale. Jon Snow, back beyond the wall, back where he belongs. The only place he's ever been truly happy, the place where, you know, he found himself. And who does he find there? It's Ghost.
And Tormund. And
Tormund's there, yes, Simon, no one cares. That's not important. And he sees Ghost, and there was a moment where I thought, they're not gonna give us a moment. He's hugged Tormund, and that's gonna be it. That's Jon's story complete. But then he sees him and he runs over to him and just gives him a little scratch, and he's like, and Ghost's just there like the happiest little boy, and he's like loving it, and it's just so like lush, and it's just like a perfect capper on Jon's whole arc of becoming a Stark again. You know, the direwolf is the sigil of the House Stark, but also the White Wolf because he's the outsider. That's why he's going back beyond the wall. And you know, we were so angry that he didn't get petted before, and now he gets his pet because he's a good boy, and Jon gets his arc complete, and it's just lovely. Now, what wasn't lovely was Sam bloody coming in with his book, dropping it on the table. What's the title? A Song of Ice and Fire. Oh, bloody hell! Like, why? Just, there was no need to do it. Like, yes, it's the name of the books that aren't getting finished, and we get that. Like, is this meant to be like a thank you to George R.R. Martin? Is this like an FU to George R.R. Martin? What is the point of it?
My favourite moment was the final goodbye between the Starks. After Jon has got his sentence and he's going off towards the north, and he meets Sansa, who's finally, you know, declared the North as independent, Arya and Bran before they all go off in their separate ways. And it's such a lush moment, and it's such a low-key, tender moment in the whole thing. There's not much actually said. He has like a single goodbye to everyone, and it's just so emotional. I think the acting there is really great. We've talked a lot this year about like Emilia Clarke and Peter Dinklage and other people. Oh my God, that just gone nowhere, has it? But Maisie Williams has been really underrated, I think. She's done so much with kind of so little, even though she's got big moments. She hasn't had a lot of like lines or really big dialogue-heavy moments, as she hasn't really throughout the show, but she conveys so much with like her physical performance, and I thought like her kind of devolving, not really devolving, but resorting to more tender emotional scenes in the past 2 episodes, especially getting that vulnerability back that she had kind of like hidden for so long was great. And her goodbye with Jon, I think, was particularly just wholesome and great and lovely. And when she tears up and Jon's tearing up and they say goodbye, and then he moves on to Bran and he like kneels before his new king, and then he has that lovely exchange where he says like, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. And then Bran's like, it's fine, you were exactly where you wanted to be. And I love that little acknowledgement between them, kind of resolving a thing I didn't even know I wanted resolved. And then they go off and they all get their happy ending, kind of, and they're all where they should be. And then the Starks win. And Ned Stark wins because he lives through them and he's formed who they are. And it's awesome. Ned Stark, despite being dead for years and years and years, wins the Game of Thrones. Worst bit is anything Sam says in the entire episode. Sam's just a little ditty. Like, he's just there, and he's practically from a different show at this point. He just mugs to the camera. Why is he on the council? He's crap. Yeah, he can write, and he knows the history of Westeros and the Seven Kingdoms and everything like that, and the history. He knows who Jon Snow really is, but he talks like he's someone from 2019. He talks like he's the mouthpiece of the whole show. When he gets up and he talks about democracy, and he considers maybe we should give the people a vote, that could be a great moment, but he's practically speaking through the characters and talking straight to the audience and giving them a little wink, and then he does exactly what James said when he comes and slaps his big BDE book down on the table, and he goes, there's a Song of Ice and Fire. He's like a cosplayer in this world, and who even cares what he does with Gilly? He doesn't even have a relationship with her. They had sex one time, and now he's a dad, and that's brilliant. Excellent. Well done, Sam.
Right, well, this season has been very emotional. We've all had all our characters we cared for so many years. As like we've seen, like Scott really cares about his characters, and so we all have cared about his characters.
I mean, that's a lie.
But we've lost a few on the way. We've had Jamie Lannister's gone. I've lost poor Jorah Mormont, aka Lord Friendzone. But the real winner of Game of Thrones here, everyone, Bronn. He gets the castle, he gets Highgarden, and he becomes Master of Coin. So all the gold. Bronn wins, lol. Okay, worst moment is probably just all the background stuff that gets glazed over, like I get it, yeah, it's hard to, I've seen these complaints, it's hard to show battles in their entirety when we've got like 1,000 characters, it felt like, especially at the long night. But how many Dothraki are still alive and how many Unsullied are around and what the actual casualties are, we don't really get to see the background. We get to see, and all these poor people that were literally incinerated in King's Landing, just gone. And then we kind of like go to a few council meetings like, they're probably okay. Just all glazed over, and then Grey Worm goes home. Sure, Grey Worm is really angry and lost love of his life, but you know, it's just all the background stuff. And sometimes the passage of time, because when it was snowing and then they just cut to that meeting, I laughed for a minute because I didn't know what was happening, and I was just thinking the internet is going to be angry. But I enjoyed it. But that's, in an okay episode, that's probably the worst bit for me.
Okay, so the best bit for me in the Game of Thrones finale was Sansa getting her BDE moment of being queen in the North. Like, it was fantastic. Her bit of seeing Bran become king and everything was a strange deviation, as in, like, I was sitting there hoping the whole time that Sansa was gonna be recognised, get a whole political prowess thing since they got her to King's Landing. And Bran being king was fair enough. I think it makes sense. It's a good choice, and the way it's played out, I'm very happy with. But then seeing Sansa go, well, actually, I would like my own kingdom and I'm going to run this my way, I think it's just a great way for the series to end, because she spent so long being controlled by other people, being passed around by other people, and now she's finally putting her foot down and going, actually, no, this is my place. I know what's best for it. I'm a good ruler. I've done this, that, and the other, and I've got to this point, and now is my time to shine as the Stark in Winterfell. And I think it was just a wonderful way to finish her arc. And then to see it in the episode where she gets her coronation, and the way that they play her costume and her hair. Like, her hair is a really important thing throughout the series because she's worn it like everyone else for the whole time. Like, she's had her hair up, like Cersei. She's had her hair half up, half down, like Marjorie. And this is the moment where she finally gets all her hair down and is like, this is how I look now. This is what I'm going to wear. I read that in an article. It was very interesting. And her outfit as well, having all the different elements of the weirwood tree and a big celebration of the North. I just thought it was a wonderful, elating moment to end on. And everyone shouting, Queen of the North, with their swords was just big energy. Like, I just loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I was really happy that she got this to cap off her story. The worst moment, I thought, wasn't particularly a choice. I know lots of people will disagree with that and say that there's many choices that were bad, especially since we're looking Scott in the eye as I say this. But for me, it was more that we didn't get enough and the pacing was so condensed. I think for me, the worst part of this season and of season 7 was that we didn't get 10 episodes for it to play out through in each one. It should have been a 20 episode chunk that was absolutely boiled down to its core. And I think the thing that suffered the most from that was Dany's death, which was a fantastic moment. It'd been signposted for so long that we knew it was coming. We knew it was going to happen. There's no way of getting around that emotional beat. But I think for her to not have much more of a follow-up and that playing out in Grey Worm just kind of being pushed aside as well, I think that needed a lot more attention, and kind of the repercussions of everyone's feelings about this and how King's Landing kind of responds, and it just having a bit more room to breathe. For me, her just having a knife in the chest, Drogon hops off, that was a bit like, ooh, I want to see a bit more. She literally just burned a whole city to the ground and you're also going, yeah, sure, whatever, let's carry on. But yeah, she's been such an integral part of this whole journey, this 8-year journey, that I would have liked it to have been extrapolated on a bit more, really. But that's what I would have liked. But the whole episode in general could have been another 3 and I'd have been happy with that as well. So pacing in general, as I say, speaking really fast.
So for me, the best moment, well, there was quite a few best moments because I thought it was great. But the best moment was when Tyrion and Jon came together just after Tyrion was arrested. Peter Dinklage has had a really rough ride for this past season, and in fact for several past seasons, because it felt like the show didn't like him very much and he was given less to do, or he was given like worse things to do. And this episode made Tyrion the most important person because he's the one that convinces Jon to do what he does. And the performance by Peter Dinklage, from pretty much the moment where he finds Jaime and Cersei right through to him talking to Jon and the end of that scene, is just the best acting work that Peter Dinklage has probably done in this show, apart from his trial. It's just a really captivating scene, and it sort of addresses some of the things that people were upset about in the penultimate episode. People were like, well, why did she do that? And Tyrion basically might as well turn to the camera and say, look, we know the audience was pretty pissed off with this. This is why this happened. And I thought that was good as well. I mean, it filled in gaps, but it's more the emotion of the scene and how good it is, and Tyrion admitting that he betrayed his best friend. You hear that Varys is his best friend for the first time. And like, Varys was right all along. He's one of the best characters in the show, and to have that acknowledged is just wonderful. It's just a really good moment. People talking in rooms, that's what Game of Thrones is about. The worst part, there's 2 worst parts. So I'll give you in episode 1, and it's the way Grey Worm has no conviction whatsoever. He's sort of told, he appears with Tyrion when Tyrion's in chains and says, there's no way he's getting away with this. And then about a second later, it's like, okay, he's got away with it. And then he says, there's no way Jon Snow's going to get away with this. So he's got away with it again, hasn't he? But it's all right because he's going to North and he's going to die. So that's good. And the other bad thing is the internet. We all work and the internet's great, isn't it? It's really good. But the way that some people have talked about this episode and some of the other episodes has just been not very nice. Do you know what's all right? It's all right to like things. It's all right to not like things as well. Don't then attack people for doing one of those two things.
It finished, didn't it? That was good. Look, images moved on a screen for 80 minutes and then it finished. So the best moment is that it's done. And the worst moment was that we ever cared. Because we put so much time into this for years and years and years. And all the theories, always Aegon Targaryen, R plus L equals J, and all the things with the Night King, and all the land beyond Forever Winter, whatever the hell it's called, who even cares? That they just swiped it over, just swiped the table clean and just said, whatever, here Dany's dead and Jon's doing this. And now she's on a boat and Drogon's got intelligence to burn down a throne because he understands the whole power hierarchy thing better than any of the characters did. I can pick things that I liked. I liked Peter Dinklage's acting when he found Jaime and Cersei. That was like a nice scene. I thought that it was incredibly slow to get there, but whatever. At least that was a good acting moment. I guess Jon had a different facial expression at one point. That was cool. So best moments probably. I don't know, I just felt nothing. Like, it's years worth of our time and all the different theories that we've invested, and I just felt nothing. The culmination of all the rush plot points, the culmination of all these like fan theories and the lore and Azor Ahai and like all the, the fact, like I said, the fact that Jon is Aegon Targaryen fundamentally doesn't really matter because, Dany snaps and does her thing anyway. So my best moment is just that it's over, and the worst moment is, take your pick. I don't know, probably Drogon burning the throne and actually having something of a realization in the moment. But yeah, I'm so done, man. I'm so done. I'm done.
And one more thing. Please remember.
Queen of the North! The Queen of the North! The Queen of the North! The Queen of the North!